Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are we doing today? I know we have 2 trolls on here already. Man, they must be so bad. So what's our plans for this weekend, trolls? Are we going to go to church? Hear the Lord? What are we going to do? We don't want that to freeze up there. I'm going to always go back to it. We'll figure it. Don't we should talk for a little bit. We only got 2 of y'all in here. We'll just let it die. We'll let the phone die. We could talk to you guys for a little bit, then we'll start this here. Today is beautiful Friday. I don't know, it looks like we got it's very cloudy, trolls. It's gonna rain. Today's been a very cloudy day. Well, the weather wasn't terribly bad. But supposedly it's supposed to rain today. So we'll see. Oh, we got 1 like there. Let's see how long it lasts for. Well, hello, Jericho. You're the one I want just... Okay, how you doing, Jericho? Happy Friday, and hopefully you enjoy your Easter Sunday this weekend. So I figure I'm wait to get more on there. I just figured I wouldn't go live this weekend. I'll let you guys enjoy your Easter Sunday weekend. I'm gonna just do me. And go to church on Sunday and then do the car show. But we got this here. We got 7 or 8 breast heavy. We're gonna watch it. I don't know. We'll see. This is what I thought.
It is because of their sacrifice and because of my respect for these individuals that you have to ask these questions. Without asking the right questions, you won't get the right answer. And if there's somebody who has questioned the official narrative of September 11th, it would be our president of the United States, Donald Trump, who on the morning of September 11th went on live TV and said this: the towers couldn't fall without a bomb being placed.
Donald, you're probably the best known builder, particularly of great buildings in the city. There's a great deal of question about whether or not the damage and the ultimate destruction of the buildings was caused by the airplanes, by architectural defect, or possibly by bombs or aftershocks. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it was an architectural defect. You know, the World Trade Center was always known as a very, very strong building. Don't forget, that took a big bomb in the basement. Now, the basement is the most vulnerable place because it's your foundation. And it withstood that. And I got to see that area about 3 or 4 days after it took place because one of my structural engineers actually took me for a tour because he did the building. And I said, I can't believe it. The building was standing solid and half of the columns were blown out. I mean, so this was an unbelievably powerful building. If you know anything about structure, it was one of the first buildings that was built from the outside. The steel, the reason the World Trade Center had such narrow windows is that in between all the windows, you had the steel on the outside. So you had the steel on the outside of the building. That's why when I first looked, and you had big, heavy I-beams, when I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think, you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747, or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall.
Donald Trump saying this in the seconds after the towers collapsed. It was the same day. Donald Trump saying it has to have been a bomb. It has to be something other than a plane that collapsed the building. Now, if you really want a black pill, then you'll go and listen to the firefighters, the people who were in the buildings themselves, and you'll give the respect to the people who most likely suffered greatly, died of cancer, carcinomas, and so on, that happened to all of these people that inhaled everything after these buildings collapsed. You'll listen to them. And here's what they had to say.
As we were getting our gear on and making our way to the stairway, there was a heavy-duty explosion.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby. Is that a safe?
Well, come on. What the? Why did it do that? That's... I've never done it before. Hello? I wasn't on Cash Kelly today. I was not on there today. I did not go on there. There's some trolls been on there. There's been trolls pretending to be me. That's weird. Why did I do that? But yes, trolls has been going on to other people's platforms and pretending to be me. So if you guys please let Cash Kelly know that. That's weird. That was playing and it just stopped. Let's get back to it again. For some reason, it does not like me playing this one. I'm back over again.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Touchy subject matter today. What really happened on September 11th? This is a question that elicits very strong responses, no matter where you go, because it affected all of us. The country that I grew up in ceased to exist after that day. Things got much worse here, and they're accelerating. That day changed everything. My direct family members went off to war. What for, exactly? I know members of the New York Fire Department and Police Department. I've spoken with the survivors. I've spoken with people who've been in that building that day. It is because of their sacrifice and because of my respect for these individuals that you have to ask these questions. Without asking the right questions, you won't get the right answer. And if there's somebody who has questioned the official narrative of September 11th, it would be our president of the United States, Donald Trump, who on the morning of September 11th went on live TV and said this: the towers couldn't fall without a bomb being placed in them.
Donald, you're probably the best known builder, particularly of great buildings in the city. There's a great deal of question about whether or not the damage and the ultimate destruction of the buildings was caused by the airplanes, by architectural defect, or possibly by bombs or aftershocks. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it was an architectural defect. You know, the World Trade Center was always known as a very, very strong building. Don't forget, that took a big bomb in the basement. Now, the basement is the most vulnerable place because that's your foundation. And it withstood that. And I got to see that area about 3 or 4 days after it took place because one of my structural engineers actually took me for a tour because he did the building. And I said, I can't believe it. The building was standing solid, and half of the columns were blown out. I mean, so this was an unbelievably powerful building. If you know anything about structure, it was one of the first buildings that was built from the outside. The steel, the reason the World Trade Center had such narrow windows is that in between all the windows, you had the steel on the outside. So you had the steel on the outside of the building. That's why when I first looked, and you had big, heavy I-beams. When I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. and in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747 or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall.
Donald Trump saying this in the seconds after the towers collapsed. It was the same day. Donald Trump saying it has to have been a bomb. It has to be something other than a plane that collapsed the building. Now, if you really want a black pill, then you'll go and listen to the firefighters, the people who were in the buildings themselves, and you'll give the respect to the people who most likely suffered greatly, died of cancer, carcinomas, and so on, that happened to all of these people that inhaled everything after these buildings collapsed. You'll listen to them. And here's what they had to say.
As we were getting our gear on and making our way to the stairway, there was a heavy-duty explosion.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the
planet probably.
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion.
I heard a second explosion and another rumble.
An hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much, much lower.
It just went ba-boom, it was like a bomb went off. And another explosion came right on me, just everyone flying.
There were numerous secondary explosions taking place in that building. There were continuous explosions.
No, the first explosion, and there was a second explosion in the same building. There were two explosions.
Okay. Federal agencies that were down there do believe that there was some sort of explosive device somewhere else besides the planes hitting.
There was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
Then it was secondary explosions and then the subsequent collapses.
That the FBI most likely thinks that there was a car or truck packed with explosives underneath the buildings, which also exploded at the same time and brought both of them down.
Now, that's the first time we're hearing that. So 2 planes and explosives that were in the building. Is that correct?
That is the working theory at this point.
Did you know that 118 different firefighters gave testimony that they witnessed explosions inside and outside of the building on September 11th? Much of this testimony has either been buried or ignored. Explosions were part of the 3 towers in New York. Now, it's become almost a meme, never forget, that there was a World Trade Center Tower 7 that collapsed for absolutely no reason that anyone can explain. Not a physicist, not an architect. The working theory here is that there were rumblings underground and the building collapsed. Well, that doesn't fly. Not with modern architecture. It's something that Tucker Carlson has asked about quite a bit. Tucker Carlson really questions what really happened with Building 7, and why can't you say those words out loud on TV?
If you go on TV tonight and say, I think the earth is flat, people will just laugh at you. They don't care if you think the earth is flat. It's not a threat to anyone. But if you say, like, what actually happened with Building 7? Like, that is weird, right? It doesn't, like, what is that?
Right.
If you were to say something like that on television, they'd flip out. They would flip out. Should you, like, lose your job over that? Why? It's my country.
Right.
This is an attack on my country. Can I ask you, like, I don't really understand. Do buildings actually collapse? No, maybe they do. I don't know. But, like, why can't I ask questions about that? Anything you're not allowed to ask questions about is something you should be asking more questions about, as far as I'm concerned.
So Tucker Carlson there brings up a great point, which is that for the longest time, this was very much the JFK assassination. We just didn't talk about it. Everybody knew there was something wrong. Nobody believed the official government story. There were too many strange circumstances, and there are too many people who know what really happened that have been screaming out from the darkness. They're starting to come into the light. One of my favorite YouTubers, who's truly fearless, his name is Tyler Oliveira. He did an entire 9/11 series where he spoke to witnesses that day who were at Ground Zero, who have some major questions about the official narrative. They're uniformed firefighters, people who know how a building collapses and how it doesn't. Again, if you find one massive structural lie here, World Trade Center 7 tower, the Pentagon, it starts to look like a massive conspiracy to hide information from the American people. And that's certainly what you find when you investigate whatever hit the Pentagon.
Just so you viewers know, is the most heavily defended building in the world. The pilot who allegedly was piloting the plane that crashed into the Pentagon, his name was Hani Hanjour, and he, according to the 9/11 Commission, was the worst pilot out of the bunch. Now, they supposedly were training on Cessnas, so he went to this flight school, and he was such a poor pilot that the instructors wouldn't even certify him on flying a single-engine propeller plane. Yet, he is supposed to have taken this commercial jetliner and done some aerobatic maneuvers to bring it in almost ground level and go into the side of the Pentagon. So, at the time, it had an active surface-to-air missile defense, so they could shoot down incoming planes. There are more security cameras around the Pentagon, even back then. The FBI confiscated between 80 to 90 videos they have of what hit the Pentagon. They won't release it. Like I said, the more you investigate, the more you don't want to look at it. 9/11 is the biggest lie of our lifetime.
This video is all that's really out there.
So, obviously, this is something that has lived in infamy on the internet. How strange it is that, well, in Washington, D.C., in Northern Virginia, in what is a federal city, or Pentagon City is what it's actually called, where the Pentagon is, that's the name of the metro stop, that's the only footage of this happening. Seems incredibly strange. We live inside of a technocracy, especially in Washington, D.C., where there are security cameras literally everywhere. Think about how many different cameras captured January 6th. January 6th also is something where they only gave you just enough footage to fit the official narrative. They wouldn't give you all the footage, of course. All of that footage was hidden, covered up. And it still remains, a lot of it, covered up and hidden. So it's a very similar circumstance here. Why don't we have more footage of even the plane flying over Virginia? You would assume there would be cameras all over these buildings that could capture the plane in flight. I'm just asking, again, I'm asking questions. I'm saying that the official narrative don't make no sense. Because there has to be more footage than that. And it took years for that footage to be released. Judicial Watch had to fight tooth and nail to try and get that footage out in the first place from these security cameras. And there are frames missing. Anyway, that certainly does smack of January 6th to me, right? The pipe bomber, so on. What's the point? The point is that there's an untold story here. And it's not time for crackpots, and it's certainly not time for people who didn't experience these things firsthand, right? I wasn't in D.C. or New York at this time. I was safely in my little classroom in Iowa. But there is someone who was physically there in D.C. and somebody who was a very prominent member of Congress who was set to be the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, arguably the most powerful committee in Congress. And this individual spoke to Tucker Carlson recently. Here's Tucker's intro for who we're about to speak to.
The interview you're about to watch 5 days ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since. It's with a former congressman from Pennsylvania called Curt Weldon. Curt Weldon was a very significant figure in Washington 20 years ago. He was not some obscure backbencher. He was one of the most powerful Republicans in the Congress, about to take over the Armed Services Committee, until he asked questions about the official story on 9/11, at which point the Bush administration sent the FBI to his daughter's house, destroyed her life, never charged her with a crime, and effectively got Curt Weldon bounced out of Congress. I haven't talked to him in 20 years. I didn't know exactly what to expect, but this conversation, the one you're about to see, raises far more questions than I ever anticipated. This is not a crazy person. These are not crazy questions. He makes no claims he doesn't have personal firsthand evidence of. When it ended, I asked him how many other officials who were in and around Washington during 9/11 have similar questions. And he said to me, as far as I know, all of them. And he's still in touch with a lot of those people. After this conversation, which again we've been thinking about ever since, I thought it might be time to look a little more deeply into the 9/11 Commission.
So Tucker Carlson announces that they're going to be doing a deep dive and trying to answer these questions. But without further ado, let's hop into this interview, or at the very least, the part that I think is the most compelling. The part that I think is the most compelling is Building 7. If you can't explain the collapse of a building, you have a real problem, real structural problems, let's say, for lack of a better term, with your arguments. Why did that building fall? Nobody has ever given an answer. It was a stout, modernly built building. It had no real connection to the World Trade Centers. It wasn't hit by anything. It wasn't attacked, as far as we know, or has ever been documented. Meaning there were no terrorists who ran inside with explosive vests on. It just fell. Why? If you can't answer that single question, then really the whole rest of the entire official story of September 11th collapses. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what Tucker Carlson asked Curt Weldon. Curt Weldon is 77 years old. He's decided to finally tell the truth about September 11th. This post has 32,000 likes, 14,000 reposts, 4.3 million views. This is a monster of a post, and it's really going viral. Tucker Carlson interviews former Congressman Curt Weldon, who says the 9/11 Commission was a farce, and he has proof. Curt claims that he feared for his life after the Bush administration targeted him for questioning the official 9/11 narrative. 9/11 is going to be the biggest scandal in American history. Once people realize that they can talk about it and are not afraid of being killed. You have 3 buildings collapse in on themselves, implode. A lot of people, many credible, non-crazy people, have said that that was a controlled demolition. Was it? Well, we played you some of those clips. One of the individuals who said there were bombs in the building is President Trump. Of course, you can't get a stronger authority on buildings built in New York. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Here is the clip. You'll hear some of the original videos that we played for you earlier referenced Curt Weldon explaining Tower 7.
Do I think 9/11 is going to be the biggest scandal in our lifetime and beyond? Yes, I think it's going to be the biggest scandal in the history of America because it occurred on U.S. soil and because it is so recent that we have relevant information still available.
Right, that's right.
We have recorded information. We have personal information. Once people realize they can talk and not be afraid of being killed or not being afraid of being ostracized. And you know what gets me is reporters who call people conspiracy theorists. Well, that's all the agency does. They're the ones that create the conspiracies.
I'm aware.
I mean, cut me a break.
I'm aware.
They have whole courses for their agents on how to make people look like they're conspiracy theorists.
And the propaganda operations designed to discredit.
Exactly.
Right.
And so all we want is the truth.
Of course.
So Trump, appoint people of impeccable integrity. Let them study the facts. I will testify under oath everything I know about intelligence. Let these 3,000 architects who are risking their careers, making nothing, let them testify under oath. There has been this subtle pressure to the firefighters and to the officers not to talk, for obvious reasons. You know what this involves politically. And look what happened to the chief of L.A. The female chief of L.A. comes out and says that the resources were taken away from her for the forest fires. And what does the mayor do? She fires her. That was just a few weeks ago. The firefighters are always a scapegoat. That's why, Tucker, I'm done with this. If it's the last thing I do, firefighters are not going to be taken for granted anymore. We're going to rise up. We're going to shake the country to its roots. So, firefighters are not second-class citizens.
Well, they certainly shouldn't be.
But if they talk, they'll get sidelined. They'll be called crazies, even though they heard explosions. They can't be allowed to say that.
They heard explosions?
Yeah, absolutely. It's on tape.
Well,
we have people coming out of the buildings that heard explosions. We have film footage of people that talked to Fox News that was taken off the air and then now that was brought back by X. That's all available. That's why you need a commission to go back and look at all the lies.
So there are, and pardon my ignorance, But there are people on tape saying I heard explosions.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. They're the only high-rise buildings in the world that have ever come down from an airplane hitting them. And those buildings, I read the report from the architect who designed them. They were designed to withstand an airplane hitting the building and standing tall.
And especially Building 7, which had no plane hit it. Right.
No plane hit it. And the building just, you can see it when you watch it on TV, it just implodes straight down. And what really got me again was Oriole Palmer, the battalion chief, arising on the...
Well, tell us who he was. What is...
Okay, Oriole Palmer was one of the most inspirational battalion chiefs in New York.
FDNY.
FDNY, who immediately, in very good shape, had a family, a couple of kids, went into the building as soon as they got on the scene, took the elevator up to the 40th floor. Got off the elevator, and you could hear him on the comm system say, "I'm here, 40th floor. We're going to start walking up the stairwells." Every 5 floors, he radios back to communication. "I'm on the 50th floor. Everything's okay. We're on floor 60. Everything's okay." He's going up. Every so many floors, he gives a report. He reaches the 78th floor, the floor of impact. He comes out of the stair tower, and as clear as you listening to me here, and I know I get passionate, and I apologize to your listeners for that. He says, "We're on floor 78, the floor of impact. We've got 2 fires, and we can handle them." 1 minute later, the whole building collapses. That's not normal. That is not acceptable. That is not what happened.
And this is on tape?
It's on tape.
You had 3 buildings come down, sort of collapse in on themselves, implode, it looked like. And like a lot of people have said, many credible, non-crazy people have said that was controlled demolition. Was it?
Well, when I got up there the day after, I had been in the Trade Center at the restaurant on the top several times. There's no way those 2 buildings could have collapsed into what they were there.
You know, if you find one lie, then there is a real chance that you're being lied to at scale. You don't just lie to people like once. If you catch somebody in a lie, whether it is a white lie or whether it is a big lie, there's something else going on. Liars, by their very nature, don't just lie one time. It is a trait that follows you. And so how often have we been lied to by our federal government? Well, my life, all of my life and yours, everything since the Kennedy assassination, World War II, World War I, so many lies, so many circumstances that cost American lives. Gulf of Tonkin, anyone?
Yeah.
That changed the country forever for the worse. And they're provable lies. Do you believe that there are people in the U.S. government who knew 9/11 was going to happen and allowed it to happen? It's treason, says the congressman. Our agencies use their position not for something involving national security, but for involving a cover-up of a person's identity publicly approved by the Congress of the United States, appointed by Security Advisor President Bush. Who was the person who began talking about all of this? President Trump. Sure be nice to see some of that declassification from President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard about the real story on September 11th. Or, if you want to refute all of this, have an open debate and an argument. Bring the same facts the congressman brings. Answer these simple questions. We welcome that debate, ladies and gentlemen. Not even to begin to get into how did the hijackers get into the country, how did they get flight school, why were they allowed in the country, why were they effectively smuggled into the country by the CIA. What's going on here? John Brennan was the person who was in charge of the Doha station for the CIA, who approved of the hijackers going into the United States of America. You start asking those questions, you start looking at the actual documentation that's come out of Guantanamo Bay in interviews with FBI agents, the terrorists themselves, and so on. You start to really paint a much darker, more horrific picture about the truth of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth shall set you free. It's Boy Benny. Watch your own trial.
So, I don't know. To me, there's a lot of things that if they knew the other person couldn't really fly like shit, couldn't even get his license. And, yeah, I mean, I agree with Benny Johnson. Where's the camera pictures of? I mean, how can no one even says? I mean, I really think it was demolition because it had to be something. The building to go down that easy. I'll listen on like this. Watch this one. So, what do you guys all think about this here 9/11 thing? You guys tell me. We're gonna get this other video recording. People are in their Tesla. Let them church. Alright, let's get this down here. CIA, yeah.
Good morning. With me here today, I have our great Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, Representative Laurel Libby of the Maine State House, Linnea Saltz of IWF Women's Sports Advocate, Stephanie Turner, a fencer, Zoe Hutchison, a Maine athlete, Cassidy Carlisle, a Maine athlete, and my dear friend, you all know Riley Gaines, who has been a champion on this issue for women. Today, the Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. Pretty basic stuff. This is a violation of Title IX. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety. I've met many of these women throughout the past weeks and months, and what they have been through is horrific. We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about. We have repeatedly notified Maine of its infractions and urged them to remedy the situation to protect women. We've stripped grants from Maine through other departments, and we are going to continue to fight for women. Let me give you some examples. Let me give you a timeline. This timeline, I think, is pretty important. So in February 2024, these are just a few examples. A biological boy started competing in women's ski races and cross-country races in Maine. He came in first in the 5K with a time that would have been 43rd among men. In February 2025, a biological boy won first place in the pole vaulting competition in Maine's indoor track and field meet. He beat every other girl by a significant margin. That qualified him for regional championships. That took a spot away from a young woman in women's sports. Shame on him. February 21st, 2025, President Trump has the governors at the White House. President Trump has the exchange with Janet Mills. He asked her about the issue. Her response, we'll see you in court.
Needs to be done.
Well, we still didn't sue. HHS and the Department of Ed opened investigations in an attempt to get them to comply. They both found violations. And in March, Maine refused to comply. I want to read you this letter. This is from the Maine Attorney General to the Department of Education. We will not sign the resolution agreement. We do not have revisions or a counterproposal. We agree we are at an impasse. Nothing in Title IX or its implementing regulations prohibits schools from allowing transgender girls and women to participate on girls' and women's sports teams. Well, they must not be reading the same Title IX that we're reading. We believe they are failing to protect women, and it's not only an issue in sports. It is a public safety issue. These boys are allowed to go in women's restrooms. They are allowed to go in the women's dressing rooms and get fully naked and change in biological boys and change clothes in front of these young women. Maine's leadership has refused to comply at every turn, so now we have no other choice. We are taking them to court. What we are seeking an injunction to get them to stop this, stop what they're doing. That's pretty simple. And we are seeking to have the titles returned to the young women who rightfully won these sports. And we are also considering whether to retroactively pull all the funding that they have received for not complying in the past. And I'm so proud of these brave young women standing behind me. I see and lots of parents in the front too, and I've met you. Thank you to the parents for supporting your daughters and telling them it's okay to fight back and stand up for what they believe in. Some of these young women have endured vicious injuries too as a result of boys playing in their sports. It's my honor now to introduce to you our Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon.
Good morning, everyone. I don't think our case could have been stated any better than it was just presented by our Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And I thank you very much for your participation this morning, and I will echo Attorney General's comments about how brave these women are, these young women. And, of course, Riley Gaines has been a staunch advocate for the Title IX infractions, since she came on board. And we're so proud to have Riley out there as such a prominent spokesperson. So today we're announcing a weighty development in the Title IX investigation into the Maine Department of Education. The Department of Education, analyzed Maine's Education Department for compliance with Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, which prohibits sex-based discrimination in any school or education program that receives federal funding. Unfortunately, our investigation has found that Maine continues to willfully violate Title IX and to strip the civil rights of female athletes in the state. And as Pam alluded as well, it's not just about their civil rights, it's about their safety. And we, after our investigation, we found we really had no other choice. We thought the infractions warranted turning them over to the Justice Department for their further investigation. So how do we get here? On February 5th, President Trump signed the executive order keeping men out of women's sports, which directed all states and educational programs receiving federal funds to cease the practice of allowing males to compete in sports programs for women. They didn't make this up. This is the law. This is Title IX. This executive order was aimed at protecting women like fencer Stephanie Turner or volleyball player Peyton McNabb from being injured and unfairly outmatched by male athletes. President Trump didn't pull any punches. He explicitly warned Maine and Governor Janet Mills that Maine would risk losing federal funding if it continued to allow males to participate in women's sports. Governor Mills chose to openly flout Title IX compliance, telling President Trump, and I'll repeat what the general said, "We'll see you in court," and obviously we are going to. That same day, our Office for Civil Rights opened an investigation into the Maine Department of Education and Maine School Administrative District Number 51 for permitting males and girls sports and denying female-only intimate facilities. The department's investigation confirmed Maine's Title IX violations, and we offered Maine leaders multiple opportunities to change their policy and to protect women in sports, and they have refused. So now as DOJ begins their enforcement actions, I hope Governor Mills will recognize that her political feud with the president will deprive the students in her state of much more than the right to fair sporting events. After all, compliance with federal civil rights law is a universal prerequisite for receiving federal funding. The Trump administration could not be any clearer to all states, sports leagues, and educational institutions. We take the violations of women's civil rights very seriously. I have 3 granddaughters, and I want to make sure that they are treated fairly and that they aren't exposed, in dressing rooms. We want to make sure that if you open women's sports or intimate facilities to males, you expose yourself to federal civil rights investigations. Governor Mills will definitely get her wish. We thank you all for being here this morning. Look forward to seeing you later.
Thank you, Secretary. I'd now like to introduce to you State Rep Laurel Libby from Maine, who has been a champion for these young women in the state of Maine. And thank you, Representative.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. It's unfortunate that we have to be here today because Governor Mills and legislative Democrats, along with the Maine Principals Association, continue to persist in discriminating against Maine women and girls. They are out of alignment with 2/3 of Mainers who believe that biological males have no place in girls' sports. Earlier this week, MSAD 70 School Board voted unanimously to align with Title IX. They're in alignment with 2/3 of my fellow Mainers. And I would encourage other school boards throughout Maine, I would exhort you to speak up for Maine girls similarly and vote to align with Title IX. I thank you to the Trump administration and AG Bondi for taking action on behalf of our girls and helping to ensure a safe, fair, and level playing field in Maine.
Thank you. President Trump, before he was elected, this has been a huge issue for him. Pretty simple. Girls play in girls' sports, boys play in boys' sports. Men play in men's sports, women play in women's sports. Yep. And he got to know a great young woman during that time named Riley Gaines. And we are all so proud and honored to have her here with us. Riley has been a champion nationally for this issue. Riley, please join us.
Thank you. Well, goodness gracious, it's an honor to be here, to stand beside, of course, Secretary McMahon, Attorney General Bondi, these amazingly brave athletes, Representative Libby. But truthfully, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that we have to be here, that we as women have to stand before you all on national television demanding equal opportunities, demanding privacy in areas of undressing, demanding safety in our sports. Amazing to me that we are still here fighting this fight, that the Democratic Party has really doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on their ridiculous stance, but that's exactly what they've done. Let me tell you what sports has done in my life. Of course, in terms of athletic achievement, I very proudly finished my career as a 12-time NCAA All-American, a 5-time SEC champion, actually the SEC record holder in the 200 butterfly, making me one of the fastest Americans of all time, a 2-time Olympic trial qualifier, SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, SEC Community Service Leader of the Year. The list goes on, but again, just to really reiterate, it's a lifelong journey. It's how I met my husband. It's what gave me my lifelong friends. It taught me how to be a leader. It taught me how to set goals and work to achieve those goals. All things that, of course, I'm utilizing in my life now beyond sports, that leadership in Maine, Governor Mills, Democratic leadership really across the nation, that's what they're denying girls and women of. I'm sure you guys saw the clips and the visuals that surfaced following President Trump's executive order signing of this EO, barring men from participating in women's sports within any educational program that receives federal funding. And it was the most amazing thing to be there. And you have all of these young girls. I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They've got their jerseys on, their sports uniforms, their big bows in their hair that they wear on the soccer field. That visual means more to me than I could possibly put into words, and that is what is at stake here. That is who Governor Mills is fighting, not Donald Trump. It's those little girls, and I believe that's sick. It's regressive is what it is. They do this under the guise of progress, indicating we are moving in the positive forward direction. No, what Governor Mills is doing, and again, Democratic governors across the nation, is deeply regressive and utterly misogynistic. Over the past 3 years, I've had the opportunity to speak to countless girls in Maine and again across the country, countless parents, coaches who all virtually say the same thing. Why wouldn't anyone protect my athlete? Why wouldn't anyone protect my daughter? Why wouldn't anyone protect me? I've talked to girls who have lost roster spots, of course, podium finishes. I've talked to girls who have been exploited and simultaneously exposed to naked men in intimate areas of undressing. I've talked to girls who have been severely injured in their sports due to a male player on the opposing team. For crying out loud, we have a female representative from Maine, Laura Libby, you just heard from her. She didn't tell you what happened to her. She lost her ability to vote and to speak on the House floor for defending girls and women, for posting about what was happening in Maine. No, this type of oppression didn't happen in Afghanistan. No, this type of censorship didn't happen in England. It happened right here in America under Democratic leadership. Again, this isn't progress. I would describe this as betrayal. Let this be a notice, these actions that we have seen put forward today by the Department of Justice, by the Department of Education, to all other states who are not willing to comply with federal law, that federal law being Title IX, which is very clear in how it was originally implemented, or at least it should be. We never knew we had to define this word sex until these both elected and unelected bureaucrats started to go through the back door and reinterpret this word to mean what they want it to mean. Originally implemented in 1972, it was only 37 words, very brief. Ultimately, of course, preventing sex-based discrimination. Let this be a notice. California, Minnesota, the likes thereof. If you do not comply with federal law, you do not get to reap the benefits of complying with federal law. Of course, one of those benefits being receiving federal funds. Women are protected and recognized under federal law, again, that law being Title IX. The U.S. government under President Trump, including the Department of Justice, including the Department of Education, will not stand by and ignore when the federally protected rights of women and girls are being violated. Again, that encounter between Governor Mills and President Trump went viral for really all of the right reasons. I think she thought she had this mic drop moment when she said, "I'll see you in court." Guess what? You will, because President Trump is a man of his promises. That was his campaign slogan. That's what we've seen delivered. Promises made, promises kept. This is another one. People, the American people, girls, women, boys, men, old, young, white, black, gay, straight, none of those identity factors matter. We want transparency and we want accountability. Again, we voted overwhelmingly in favor of that on November 5th. And accountability is back in the White House. So I stand before you all today, and I thank you, again, Secretary McMahon, Attorney General Bondi. I thank you on behalf of course, myself, but I think more importantly, my younger sister, of all the women and girls who have dreams, like I did when I was young, to achieve, to succeed in my sport and beyond. So thank you.
Riley, thank you. And Zoe would now like to say something. Tell us about your sport too, Zoe.
So I compete in soccer and indoor track and outdoor track. And like was mentioned previously today, I had to watch at the Maine Class B State Indoor Track Championship as my close friend and my teammate and other female competitors lost the state championship to a biological male. And this was heartbreaking for me to have to watch. And Riley said that it's betrayal, and that's what it is. It is the job of our elected officials to protect our young female athletes, and they have failed to do that. We walk into sports expecting to have a level playing field, and to walk into the state championship to see a biological male there and to lose to a biological male, that's betrayal. And so I am extremely grateful to AG Bondi for standing up for us when our elected officials aren't doing that. And on behalf of the girl athletes in Maine, I just want to say thank you all, and I look forward to having a level playing field back after this fight. So thank you.
And Cassidy wants to say a few words.
My first experience was when I was 13 years old. I was going to change for gym, and I walked into the locker room, and there was a biological male there. From that point on, my junior year, I competed in Nordic skiing and lost to a biological male numerous of times. I am fighting this fight for generations to come. And the fact that our governor can look the women of our state in the eyes and say, I'm not going to fight for you, is heartbreaking, and it's betrayal, like Riley said. I just want to thank all these women standing behind me and President Trump for fighting for us, because even though my own governor isn't fighting for me, I know there are people out there fighting for me.
It takes a lot for these young women to be standing up here saying this too. And again, I'm looking at their amazing parents in the front row who have supported them, who I've gotten to know, who are protecting them every step of the way and telling them that they have a voice to stand up for themselves and future generations of young women to come and many athletes. Gates, should we take some questions? Questions?
Mary Margaret, Daily Way.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. I wanted to ask if there's other states that you're focused on. Which ones are next for these types of abuses, including men and women's prisons?
Well, first we're looking at, for this, we're looking at Minnesota. We're looking at California. We're looking at many, many states, but they are the top two that should be on notice because we've been communicating with them. And just like Maine, we're not going out there. We don't want to be suing people. We want them to comply with the law. And that's what we're doing. We have given them opportunity, Maine, an opportunity over and over again. The Department of Education, HHS, they went and sat down with them in person, multiple meetings, and got nowhere. So now this is where we are because they refuse to protect young women in their state. So yes, Minnesota, California, multiple states. As far as prisons, had nothing to do with Title IX. We took away funding from Maine as well. We decided to go a different direction in our grants, because we saw one reason they allowed a 6'1", 245 giant man who had violently, no murders, nice, but he had violently murdered his parents with a knife and the family dog, serving life in prison, and he chose to identify as a woman. So guess where he's being housed? In a female prison in Maine. So therefore, my office, we don't want to give any more money to the Department of Corrections in Maine if that's how they're going to act. We're going a different direction in our funding.
Sadie with the Journal.
Hi there. So Maine's governor yesterday said there were maybe at most 2 trans athletes in Maine schools right now. I just was hoping you could talk a little bit about the sort of amount of federal resources that you're putting into this and why that's worth it given the small impact in Maine. And I have a second off-topic question, too. Given that it has some of the same elements as the fire bombings of Tesla dealerships that you charged federally and called domestic terrorism, I'm wondering if you would say the arson at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house would also be domestic terrorism and something you would investigate federally, and if not, what constitutes domestic terrorism?
Okay, so first the on-topic question about the I haven't heard Janet Mills comment. Governor Mills said it's only a couple trans athletes. Well, I think those are boys who identify as girls wanting to beat girls in girls' sports. Well, if one young woman is in jeopardy, one, that's enough for us to be standing up here. One, no boy will be undressing in a girl's locker room. No boy will be walking in a woman's restroom. And no boy, when we're finished with this, will be beating young girls in sports. These young women many of them have trained, since you were in elementary school for your sport? Riley, when did you start swimming? 4 years old. They have trained their entire lives. Some of them have lost scholarships. They have lost regionals. They have lost state because of boys. I don't care if it's one. I don't care if it's two. I don't care if it's 100. It's going to stop, and it's going to stop in every single state. Tesla. You ask about, yes, Tesla. You ask about, so I spoke to Governor Shapiro. I think you're referring to his governor's mansion. I spoke to him. It is absolutely horrific what happened to him. Kash Patel also spoke to him. We have been praying for Josh, for his family. Those photos, it was horrible. I firmly believe they wanted to kill him. The defendant allegedly said he was going to use a hammer if he could have gotten to the governor. I've known the governor many, many years. It is horrible. And yes, we are working with state authorities to do, it's now a pending investigation, anything we can to help convict the person that did this and keep them behind bars as long as possible.
David?
Two questions, one on topic and one off topic. Sure. I'll start with the on topic. Minnesota and California, you mentioned you're looking at them. Are there active investigations into those states? Are there conversations? In which state do you expect to be next based on those conversations?
Both. We have reached out to them. We have sent them letters. We're in the same posture we were in the beginning here with Maine. So let's see what they do. Let's hope they comply. Again, we don't want to sue anyone. We just want you to comply with federal law and protect girls, period. But yes, we are fully prepared to sue them and others that we will be looking at as well.
And then my off topic, big topic over the past few weeks, Kilmar Abrego Garcia in Maryland. He's in a prison now in El Salvador. He was sent there. You insist, the president, everybody in the administration insists that he is MS-13. It appears that there's not going to be any sort of trial. He's not going to come back. DHS said he would be arrested and redeported if he comes back. Why not show the American people the evidence that he's MS-13 so they can make an informed decision? And that goes the same with this Henry Josue Santos, who was picked up in Virginia, who is now presumably going to be deported as well. Why not show the public the evidence?
Well, he is an illegal alien who has been living illegally in our country from El Salvador. ICE testified. An immigration judge ruled he was a member of MS-13. An appellate judge ruled he was a member of MS-13. Hard stop. He should not be in our country. He was deported. They needed one additional step in paperwork, but now MS-13 is characterized as they should be, as an FTO, as a foreign terrorist organization. So he is not coming back to our country. President Bukele said he was not sending him back. That's the end of the story. If he wanted to send him back, we would give him a plane ride back. There was no situation ever where he was going to stay in this country. None. He would have come back, had one extra step of paperwork, and gone back again. But he's from El Salvador, he's in El Salvador, and that's where the president plans on keeping him.
The evidence, we're not going to see the evidence?
We have the transcripts from the court hearings. I'll be glad to give you the court hearings from 2019, what we have, sure, with the rulings from the judges, gladly.
All right, last one, Reagan.
Reagan Reese, Daily Caller. Madam Attorney General, there's a Maine school board, MSA D number 70, which voted unanimously on Monday to defy the governor and to comply with Title IX. With the action you're taking today, will it be possible to exempt schools that comply from any future punishment?
Yes. And I think that was very brave and bold of that school board. We just saw that as well. The question was one school board in Maine voted to comply. And again, that's all we wanted was compliance. So yes, we will not be going after them, looking at them in this
Yeah.
lawsuit because they are complying and they're protecting women in women's sports. Thank you.
No matter how you travel, it's good to have a plan. Some people plan every minute. No sleep, bus.
Ready? So yeah, I mean, all I keep hearing is, well, we're going to do this here, we're going to do that. You know, we need to hold people responsible for their actions. I mean, this is getting old. It needs to change. It needs to change. We need to stop hearing this nonsense. We need people to be held responsible for their actions. And you know, talk about, well, we don't want to sue. Sue their fucking ass. I'm done playing with these people. The January 6th thing, the investigation should have been started already. It should have been started. I don't get why the January 6th stuff, nothing's been done yet. I don't understand why nothing's been done. I mean, there's just so, I know there's so much going on these days, but still, they need to be held responsible. I know they were talking about Nancy Pelosi and fucking Daddy Fatty, whatever fuck her name is, I call her Fatty. New York, she's gonna be going to jail, but I mean, all I do is hear this here. No actions. When they need, like Brandon Johnson said too, we need to lock people up. Put them in jail. That's right, all talk and no action. That's the thing is, that's why even Benny Johnson, we need to see it be done, because if we at least get one person, that'll make a difference, because if people start seeing that, then nobody's gonna see, like, we're not fucking around here. But all I hear is a lot of this here, and nothing being done. So it's getting, I mean, for me as a person, it gets me very annoying, because I mean, I watch a lot of Benny Johnson show, I watch Tucker Carlson, I watch all this stuff, you know, I watch a lot of stuff that I'm like, all I do is keep hearing all this stuff here, and I have not seen one thing yet, one person be arrested yet. Somebody needs to go to jail. They need to be charged. The January 6th committee should have been charged, basically look at the investigation. Should have been done. Now, I know they were talking about actually Babbitt, Michael Byrne, they were going to start doing the investigation of that shit. Well, why haven't I heard anything about that? You know, it's just, nothing makes sense. Nothing does. It's getting very annoying to sit here every time. I try to go through everybody's channel, you know, but nothing's being done. Nothing's being done, and I know you guys are getting very annoyed. I know I get very annoyed. I get very annoyed with all this stuff there. All you just hear talk, and nothing's being done. And it's getting old. I mean, I understand Trump and he's got in the office here, and I know he's doing all this stuff here, but people should be charged. You know, I mean, all you hear about all this shit they're doing, and nothing's being done. The only thing I heard today was Dr. Oz was sworn in today. That was done today. I mean, I see Trump team is doing a really good job there, but we need to start arresting people. We need to help people responsible for their action. And all this talking, start arresting people, put people in jail. Let these people know that we're not fucking playing around anymore. We're done. And all these idiots here that are or basically tear up Tesla vehicles and that stuff. Things can change. So I'm looking down the other phone here. I'm trying to. Gosh, shit it all. But this weekend, I think I want y'all to enjoy your Easter weekend. Remember, Easter's on Sunday. Now, I know there's a lot of people these days, a lot of these idiots and fucking lictors. All they want to think about is, oh, it's 420. Oh, it's 420. We can go and do our drugs. We can get high. We can go. No. Be smart, kids. Go out there and have a good time. Enjoy your time with your family. Go to church. Little, you don't have to do drugs, man. You know? I figure you guys need to enjoy your Easter weekend. So I think I want to go out this weekend. I know Sunday. Every Sunday there's going to be this car show. Oh, we got a leopard! Leopard! I know leopard! Leopard! Adios, leopard! We gotta make these leopards, man. They're lost. They are very lost. The weather is very nice here right now. What is the temperature? I don't know, because something on my gauge, I think so. Because it says 138, and I can take the one away, and it'd be 30 degrees outside. I don't know. I never had that one there before, so I don't know. Good things are going on, people. But I definitely agree. I mean, things need to be done. I mean, there's been too much talk going on. Too much talk going on and nothing being done. So I definitely agree with you on that one. So, who's all here? Got 13 all here. We can, because gas, in some areas gas are not too high. Some areas are high. But we can possibly, I don't know, maybe we could go for a little ride. Right now the weather's nice. Not too bad. Oh, another leopard! Oh, leopard, how you doing there? How we doing? How we doing today? There you go, leopard. Man, you guys are really lonely tonight. Didn't Mommy and Daddy did not pay attention to y'all? Alright, let's turn the camera on so leopards walk around. So they can see. They can see what's going on up there. Hey, I do gotta do the bathroom, but we can try to get some gas. Or go into tomorrow. Who's all here? Who's all here? Yeah, we got one that's talking. Sir. I still got plenty of gas there. According to my miles are looking at it. Because the gauge does not work. I think by miles. But I do gotta go use the bathroom, but I know Jericho went to bed early because I know he's got to go to, well, if he's got to work on the weekends. I don't know. I mean, we know the troubles. The only thing to do this weekend probably makes hot pockets. Let's see. Let's go for a little. and go for like a little ride. Weather's, like I said, is not bad. We got the old Glory over there flying up there in top of that building there. I've been seeing a lot of people lately who's been driving around with their flag in their car. That's good. But this year, as much as I really want to, I'm not going to be able to. Because my car is not going to be able to do it this year as much as I want to. Oh, how you doing there, Littars? Hey, Littars, remember, I don't read chat on driving, Littars. This is why I let you all know that. Okay? Let me help you out there, Littars. It's a nice little breeze around. I don't mind it. I got windows down. I'm enjoying this right down. It's supposed to rain, so I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I think Jericho must have went to bed early. He must have to go to work. Oh boy, I gotta get some water. I got my place, get some water and ice. One down right here, go get it. Oh boy, we got somebody walking around. The boss. Oh, we got more left tires. Oh boy, I can't read. I can't do anything with chat right now because we gotta come and leave. I know we gotta make these left tires, man, shameless. These left tires, man, they got nothing better to do. Did mommy and dad forget about y'all? First off, it's called I was at a stop sign, left tires, okay? Alright, bye-bye, left tires! And that left tires, I don't understand how it works. A stop sign means here. The green means go. Yellow means caution. I know you chose the 100 their voices. Now we got green, turn signal on. And we are going to make a left-hand turn. And then we're going to come down there and we're going to apply our brakes slightly. We're going to make a right-hand turn, trolls. Oh, boy. Look at us, trolls. Man, how did I do that? I know these trolls, man. How to, like, follow the rules and obey the traffic lights and all that stuff here. He just really got to try to get me every day. He just was losing. Alright, I will look at it surely, but not. I will, when I get to my location, I will look at that. I really appreciate that. We don't want to give the trolls anything to complain about. The old glory flag down there. You gotta come back around. But I do appreciate it, but I just can't look at it right now as I'm driving. Because you know if I drove, man. See, hopefully I don't get kicked out of here. See if I see anything in here. Okay, let's get back here. And thank you very much. Thank you. Let me get some water, and then I'll be back up. So troll, make sure you put in your documentation that I came through a stop. Okay, I read a chat when I came through a stop. This is called parking spot. But thank you very much for that donation. So yeah. Let me just go get something to drink. Man, it must be getting really windy tonight because they got the umbrellas on there. They're ready to close them up. So let me get some water because the wind, it's not terribly bad, but it's supposed to rain. But it might pick up later. I don't know. All right, I'm back. I am back. So yes, I am really thankful. Thank you very much for that. Just sitting back and enjoying this lovely, beautiful weather right now. Enjoying the beautiful weather. You know, I wondered what's everybody's plan for this weekend? Their Easter's weekend. You know, Sunday is Easter. So what's everybody's plan? That's what I want to know. What is everybody plan? I definitely need to get a car wash with the car a little dirty. I don't think it's up right now. It's very dirty. I don't know if they're open. I think I'm late. I think, but we're gonna try. We'll try. I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to get a car wash. It was 80 here today. I don't know what the temperature was here today. All I know is that it wasn't bad. The temperature was not bad here today. Actually, I enjoy it. I did not mind it. The weather was not that bad. We got a nice little breeze right now. I like it. To me, it's nice. I like it. But according to our lovely weather, it says that we're supposed to get rain. We got rain coming. Anybody out there that I don't know, in this library, there's a company across the street called Party City. I don't know, for all that they're going out of business, I don't know. I never really shot at Party City, so I have no clue what the hell is in there. So all I know is it's going to business. Oh, look at these here. We gotta keep on driving. Trolls, I know you really want me to read a chapter, so you could say, oh, here's me a chapter. Hey, Charles, this is called a stop sign, okay? I'm going to turn our turn signal on, and then we're going to come to a stop, okay? And we're going to turn our turn signal on. All right, Charles? Here, Charles, let me help you with this here. Let me help you out there real quick. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. 80. Trolls are gone again. They got to go home and make their hot pockets. I like keeping my car clean, but I mean, it's been saying this all day until the rain, so I don't know. It might be kind of dumb. I mean, technically, I pay monthly for my car wash, so all right, Charles. Oh, Charles! Look at it. It's caution. It's going to red light now. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Here we go. All these trolls. So, yeah. So, I don't know. Today, they've been saying all day rain. I got a feeling today is going to be like no rain. No rain's going to happen. It might, you know... It might be just cloudy all night. So I don't know. I have never You never know what you're gonna get these days. I just take it as it is. But if it rains, it rains. It is what it is. I'm not gonna melt. I'll be fine. As long as it stays like this here, I love this weather. I don't mind it. It gets like this all year round. I would really enjoy this weather. Yeah, I wonder what the weather was for today. All I know is today wasn't bad. I like it. But I do definitely agree. I mean, we need more, instead of people talking so much, we need more action. And that's what I see. I see there's a lot more people, there's just a lot of talking on it. There's constant projections. You know, for everything they've done. All the charges. I think the J6 committee should be investigating the Trump shooting in a building, you know? All that's to be done. Oh, we got more. Oh, we got Jericho here. I know the lights are on. We'll see. I can't read the chat there, Jericho, because you know, trolls. And if I say one word on there, oh, you read chat, you're driving. We gotta call the police on you. Okay, we're gonna. Oh, we got green. Man, we're green. We got the green light. We're good to go. Process, please wait. Oh, there we go. We got in the house there. All right, Charles, gotta put our windows up now, okay? We don't want water to get in the car. Hey, you got any more of those pipes?
Yeah. No, we don't have any wipes. Actually, I have one in my car. Would you like?
No, it's sorry. Yeah.
Car in neutral. No brakes.
Oh, we got her. Take your hand off the wheels.
No wipers. Happy Easter.
Oh, these trolls. Trolls. How we doing there, trolls? You know, trolls, don't forget you're supposed to capitalize your J. Okay. got the green light yet? Oh yeah, we do. We got green light. Gotta go. I gotta go. Gotta go. I just gotta air the water out of the mirrors. If you leave them in there, your mirrors get all spotty. I don't like that. Yeah, I like this hot water everywhere. Even the windows too. Well, you guys can hold on. Oh, yeah. We can't answer questions there? Are we too shy? Or do we have to ask mommy and daddy permission to talk? Or do we have to ask little bitch boy? You know, that's a simple question. You should be able to say it off the head. Yeah. Like, see, if you had asked me, oh, do I watch? And I said, no, I don't. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. And I could answer, how long have I watched TV for? Guess what? It's been a long time since I've seen TV. Because I don't listen to bullshit. Because that's the problem. These days, there's too much bullshit on TV these days. It's a bunch of lies. See, you can't answer the question, there, kid. I don't listen to bullshit on TV. I don't waste my time. I really actually get into YouTube or watch Rumble. There's certain channels I watch. Anything these days on TV is nothing but fucking lies. Nothing ever the truth these days. So, I don't waste my time with that crap. Alright, we'll turn you around, y'all can sit staring at me. Oh, he's got the right there, all look like shit. I really don't care. This is called slagging just because moisture. I don't care about the liner. I don't. It's an old fucking car. But yeah. Why can you not answer any question? When Jericho asks you a question, you can answer it. If anytime anybody asks you a question, you guys can answer. You guys all fucking freeze. You know, we asked you about a Bible verse, and then you guys have to go to Google. You gotta go copy and paste it. And I had to write it down, take the time. You guys truly think I'm that stupid sometimes? Sometimes I wonder you guys think that. And then the thing is, you guys always try to play the whole, You know, when I'm driving, you don't think, oh, you can't read a chat. They're gonna, you read a chat. I tell you, I'm not reading chat. Because actually, I obey the law. I follow it. Now, I wonder if we're getting... That's probably water from our car. Rush. This looks like got water drops in the windshield. Yeah, I don't like that too much. Because when you leave water on your... Come on, shut up. Looks like crap. I don't like that. But yeah, I mean, I think they all be held responsible for that, for what they did, for all the crime. The J6 committee should be held responsible. They lied to the American people. This whole thing, I mean, another time about doing the investigation with Ashley Babbitt, how she was shot, on Michael Byrne, how he used his gun. I mean, why is nothing being done by now? What is it going to take? Another 4 years? Where nothing goes done? This should have been early investigation should have been started by now. Michael Byrne should be put on state on stand right now. Because the thing is, if we keep waiting, then shit, they'll just fucking quit their damn job. Yes, Charles, I drink a lot of water. A lot of water. So what else is going through everybody's mind? The 9/11? Maybe it was wrong. It's going to start raining now, it looks like. It's got a couple of drops coming down. What do we all think about the whole 9/11? You know, what do we think about 9/11? I mean, I just feel like the whole 9/11 thing, I mean, it does make sense. I mean, there was a bomb. Now, look, now I got rain really coming down now. Oh, boy. It's gonna pour down rain. Of course, did I get a car? That's alright, because I already paid the monthly thing there. I paid monthly. Get it done. It is what it is. So, I don't know. Tell me, what do you guys all think about the base in 9/11? We all have our... Well, yeah, I mean... To me, the whole just like 9/11, there was a bomb. I definitely agree it had been. There's no way that kind of metal, a steel building, that building, the Twin Towers, that just collapsed that fucking easy. There's no way. We need to start doing the investigation, people. We need to know the truth. We've been lying for many years. I think it's time for us to get the truth down. Held responsible for what they did. The same thing with the Butler. You know, what Trump being shot at. That's investigating. The fucking guy, Ryan Ralph, did investigate. How the fuck did he come with on Trump golf course and fucking there will have a gun and be there? And how the fuck people could do all this shit here and nothing being done? They all need to be investigated. I know they're talking about their fucking daddy, New York lady, fucking, I mean, start talking about it. Let's fucking start doing charges. Put our ass in fucking jail. So, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm just tired of the bullshit. All we do is hear a bunch of bullshit. It gets very annoying. 50,000 give an enter in the game. So Charles, if you go and enter in the game room, you could all win 50,000. Go and give them your life away. Give all your hot pockets away. That's gonna be 50,000 basic hot pockets, man. You gotta give them away. Well, you get 50,000, yeah. Well, I don't know if you'll get. I don't think you'll get all fucking 50,000. You know, you guys got to pay tax on that stuff. So I don't know. There's just too much going these days. There's just too much. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to keep up with everything. Like I'm constantly like trying to jump on all these. When I hear my notifications with all these bells going off, and trying to get all this stuff there, it's just too much. You know, and sometimes it's just a clickbait. That's all these are a lot of clickbaits, a lot of talking. That's all it is. It's getting old. I'm just tired of it. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. I'm tired of, a lot of times people put things on the description of something, wherever the damn thing is going on. It's a clickbait. You click on a fucking thing, it's nothing but bullshit. Because nothing's being done. People need to be held responsible for their actions. And, I mean, with Ben Young said, at least get one person, put them in jail. That would be good. One is better than fucking zero. But, I don't know. But, I want everybody here this weekend. I want everybody to enjoy their Easter Sunday weekend. Be safe. Be smart. Just because Easter is basically it's 420, okay, doesn't mean you go out there and your time, spend time with your family, your kids. All right. My goal is on Easter, I'm gonna go to church. I usually watch church online, but I'm actually physically go there and watch it in person. And on top of it, I think they're doing a car show afterwards. Not the churches, but there's a car show. It's fucking those rice burners people. That'd be going on. I think they do it every Sunday. I don't know. If they don't do it on Sunday, hey, it is what it is. I like cars. You know, I don't have any family, so I can go out and enjoy my time. And I like looking at cars. See what ends in there. So I want all y'all, please enjoy your time with your family. Please enjoy. Don't worry about me. I'm not going to go live on Saturday because I want you all to enjoy your time. This will be my weekend. Me doing me. We will do a live on Monday. We'll start back Monday. And I don't know. That's a goal. Because yeah, Saturday I want you guys. I'm not gonna go live. Hey friends, whatever you're doing, just be smart, kids. And remember, trolls, God loves y'all. We all do. You might hate God, but God still loves you. So, I think I out there. I'm gonna end the. And I can start. I'm time for me to head home. So, all right, y'all. You guys enjoy your night.